foreign policy will continue as long
Making Manish water. Watch me.
Russian critics often end up dead. Putin's
Cutting up my tripe.
opponent, Alexei Navalny,
Getting on my tripe.
died
This
last
is
month while being held in a Russian
goat
jail.
feet.
Yet there is still
Goat foot.
signs of public defiance
Tripe.
against the Kremlin. A voting booth was set on fire
Goat
in
head.
Moscow, and at another polling station
Manish
in
water.
Moscow, a woman is seen on CCTV depositing some paper into a ballot box and then a dark liquid.
It's very impressive that someone would risk jail or a large fine by going out and demonstrably opposing the elections.
Alexei Navalny called for a mass action on Sunday at noon. Everyone who supported him or opposed the regime would go and try to vote all at the same time.
The action won't change the outcome of the election, but it may give those inside and outside Russia
Clean.
the truest indication yet
Hot water.
of Putin's popularity.
We'll just cut it up.
London.
Israel's prime minister says Hamas's latest demands for a hostage deal are, quote, absurd, after Hamas delivered what it called a comprehensive vision of a ceasefire plan. Hamas's latest proposal reportedly includes a permanent ceasefire and a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu called the demands unrealistic, but says a delegation will still travel to Qatar to continue talks on a potential truce. Netanyahu also says he's approved plans for a military offensive in the Gazan city of Rafah. That despite growing international calls to hold off on the attack over fears of mass civilian casualties. Israel, meanwhile, is also denying claims that it was responsible for an attack that left at least 21 people dead and more than 150 injured on the southern outskirts of Gaza City. The Hamas-run health ministry says Israeli forces opened fire on a crowd desperate to receive aid from a truck convoy. More of that aid landed today on the Gaza coast. The Open Arms charity vessel delivered nearly 200 tons of supplies, part of a test run for a new aid route by sea from Cyprus. A major blow today to Donald Trump's efforts to delay legal proceedings against him until after November's presidential election. The judge overseeing Trump's criminal trial in Manhattan has agreed to delay that trial, but only until mid-April. That case centers on allegations that Trump falsified company records to hide hush money payments to an adult film star. Meanwhile, in Georgia,
Go try.
That district attorney Fannie Willis
All clean and ready to
in
go.
charge of that state's election interference case against Trump.
That is it.
But only after the special prosecutor Nathan Wade agreed to resign. Willis and Wade admitted that they had a romantic relationship, but rejected allegations by Trump and his co-defendants that Willis benefited from it. The judge says there was no evidence of any conflict of interest. Mother Nature's wrath in the U.S. and Midwest, coming out of destruction from a series of deadly twisters. A series of powerful and destructive tornadoes touched down in multiple U.S. states Thursday night, leaving a trail of destruction. At least 3 people were killed in Ohio, while dozens more were injured in both Indiana and Kentucky. Jackson Prosco reports on the extent of the damage. Just as darkness fell, and with little warning, tornado on the ground. A string of powerful tornadoes swept across Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, leaving behind complete devastation.
My aunt and uncles, their house is gone. Total, the roof's completely gone.
We just ran to the middle of the house into the utility room, and about 30 seconds later, it hit, and we see the damage.
Dozens of people were injured as the twisters slammed into homes, a trailer park, and even a campground where there was no place to shelter. The ceiling is caved in, everything's covered in insulation, and the rear wall is about to fall. By daylight, the extent of the damage became clear. Tens of thousands have no power, roads are blocked, and in some places there's nothing left to salvage. Search and rescue teams are now sifting through the debris, unsure if they'll find more victims, or perhaps miraculous survivors.
The devastation is such that we have to get heavy equipment into these areas to be able to move this material. The homes have collapsed to see if there's anybody injured.
After the warmest winter on record in the U.S., this is an ominous start to severe weather season. As residents in Tornado Alley pick up the pieces, they're watching the sky with worry. Jackson Prosco, Global News, Washington.
Still ahead, pension fund pressure. The calls from Canadian companies to invest more heavily at home. More than 90 CEOs signed an open letter urging Canada's finance minister to find ways to force this country's pension funds to invest more heavily in Canadian companies. Chrystia Freeland says she's open to the idea, but she would likely face stiff resistance from fund managers. Dave Bacon joins me now from Ottawa with the details. David.
Canada's pension funds have more than $2 trillion in assets, and experts say about 20% of that is invested here in Canada. But now, some say that's not enough.
There's a big multiplier effect, and pension funds, pension fund managers don't see that. They don't look at that.
Frank Letchford helped write the open letter that more than 90 Canadian chief executives signed. CEOs from the likes of Rogers, TELUS, Canadian Tire, and Maple Leaf Foods. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland signaled her intention in the fall economic statement that she would indeed like to find a way to get pension funds to direct more of their money to Canadian companies. And when she held pre-budget consultations recently with a handful of pension fund managers, the topic came up.
We said that we were committed as a government to working collaboratively with Canada's pension funds to help them find more opportunities to invest here in Canada, our remarkable country.
Managers of those pension funds think that's a bad idea.
Motel, I gotta
Pension
watch
funds
it,
are not
please.
designed to achieve regional economic development or corporate subsidies, said a spokesman for the Canada Pension Plan, Canada's single biggest fund. Others think that those Canadian companies that signed the letter are just trying to boost sagging share prices. It is not our role to prop up Canadian equity markets, the Alberta Investment Management Corporation said. Even advocates of boosting CanCon ratios of pension funds say that mandating a certain level of investment, that would be a mistake. But Chrystia Freeland has some options short of that. Adjusting tax policy, some incentives, perhaps new regulations. We'll find out what, if any, option she chooses when she takes the vote April 16th. David, Global News,
Unbelievable. Up next, tennis match gone wrong. There's been a lot of buzz about a tennis match in California, not for the competition itself, but over the uninvited patrons who suspended play. Mike Drolet reports on the room corruption.
There was a buzz around this matchup. Carlos Alcaraz versus Alexander Zverev. It was billed as a blockbuster and eclipsed by a beat. Yes, the bees. A few minutes into the match, Alcaraz swatted a few. But here's the thing. Bees don't like that at all. The umpire tells Alcaraz there's no bees here. That very clearly wasn't true. Now, bugs invading the pitch always makes for a memorable video. I've never seen this before. Whether it's on a cricket pitch or a baseball field. Let's see how many of them are there. But what those buggy events lacked was star power. With the match happening so close to Hollywood, well, of course there's a big guy with a TV show hanging around.
I used to do this as a little kid when I was like 12, 15 years old. It made me feel really like I actually accomplished something. Absolutely.
It's not enough to say Lance Davis stole this show. He aced it, and he looked cool doing it.
There's Lance, what a hero. No protective gear whatsoever needed for this guy.
It was, as they say, beautiful. He vacuumed, he sprayed, before taking a victory lap with high fives and selfies around the stadium.
Come on, guys, don't be too much on the job here.
With the Queen Bee and her swarm under control, the day needed a king of the court. No one cares. This was the Killer Bee Catcher's day to shine. Microlife Global News Toronto.
And that is Global National for this Friday night. Thanks for being with us. Sorry, I'm Jeff Semple. Tonight's Your Canada is this photo from Cap Lumiere, New Brunswick. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back here again tomorrow.
It felt like constant burning agony. David never thought he'd get shingles. Shingles helps prevent shingles.
See, I have enough to make another part. See? Okay,
It's
so
covered by most private
that's
insurance
it.
plans.
I'm Rich Bentley. I've spent 15 years
So now,
countries all around the world.
more hot water. Scald them off. Everything, scald it. Make sure you scald your stuff. I'll do that for next 10-15 minutes. Let it stay there and scald properly. Get rid of all the germs, bacteria, everything. That is it. That is how I do my cooking.
Arrived at Gatwick Airport this morning from Nairobi.
He felt that his death as the wheels were lowered above District London Gasworks.
I couldn't begin to understand what it must be like to cling to the undercarriage of a plane, or what would force anyone to attempt something so dangerous.
At 18,000 feet,
So I met with witnesses to some of these events
Now,
to see what else I could find out.
We looked out of the window.
this meat is very hard to cook, meaning it's very tough. So you gotta either pressure it. If you have a good pressure cooker pot,
You can imagine the fear, all of a sudden realising that the air up there is thin, freezing, rather like being on top of Mount Everest.
or if you have one of these. No, I don't like to use these. My pressure cooker pot, I believe in it more than these here.
Well, it isn't the first time we've had people falling out of aeroplanes in this area, because as you probably see, the aeroplanes carriage around now.
When I use my pressure cooker, this baby here,
As soon as I
one shot, everything is done.
manufacturing some of this brains was on the car over there. You know, I know, and then the bodies on the scene, he had dropped out of the sky. The most affluent part of London, he lost his life in the car.
All of these deaths had happened just a couple of miles away from my home. And I was surprised I'd never heard about them before, especially as immigration dominated.
Ay, ay.
Coast guards around the UK are stepping up their search in light of reports of migrants trying to sneak into Britain. 3,000 migrants who have been camped out on Calais up on those lorries as they attempt to get to Britain.
The electorate are generally not that keen on immigration.
We got the housing of the National State Health Service to deal with it.
More than 1 million refugees in
Make sure I put these, the tripe in first, because they take longer to cook. Right?
Drastic of any journey that could be made.
Once it goes in the bottom,
I met with a
they get all the heat.
well. In
So that's what I do.
Mike Post was landing this very plane at Heathrow when a stowaway fell from the wheel well. This was the first death of its kind recorded in the UK.
We're in the middle of the night, and this affects about 10 minutes
But at the same time, now you can put your goat feet or goat foot in there. Because they take just as long. See, with the hoof, they all clean. See? They're clean.
I can see the left here.
Now we're going to make sure the goat head, the head of the goat goes on top, because that looks really, really, really fast. You don't want it to break up or mash up or anything like that. So that goes on top.
You call for the undercarriage to come up when
Oh, I've got to fill this again.
probably a matter of 15, 20 seconds.
I've got to make some more hot water. Start my pressure cooker.
I'm trembling. Yes. I like it. No, I think it's terrifying. There's no lights, so far as I'm aware, in there. So how many tons of light? I have no idea.
And it's so much bigger than I thought. Like, it's a massive bit of machinery.
It's huge. The hydraulics are so powerful. They've got to lift these wheels up.
Now,
Why would you do
all that is finished,
something really
you put your goat head on top.
about this was the place that lost his life?
Okay?
God, it's so important. The sheer desperation that must drive someone to stow away like this painted a
That is it.
picture of a world where there were no other options.
Get ready to put my hot water. Put my hot water in there. I don't know about when I pressure it, I put my good old pimento. It doesn't break up, but they give the pot really, really good flavor. So wash them off, put them in. That is good. Also, when you start in your pot, you can put a little bit of all-purpose, so it comes out with a taste. Okay. That is it. This here is for my another cooking. How we looking? Alright. Check me back later when I'm ready to put this on the fire. Put the hot water in there. Make sure the hot water is about a half. And watch it, time it for about 35 to 40 minutes. Pause. So, these are some of the ingredients that I'm going to be using in my soup. I got 2 pieces of yam. I'm not going to use all of it. I got some edu, they call them cocoa. I got banana. I have a chocho, I don't necessarily need this, but I'm going to use it. And then I have some flour, all purpose. And the good old cock, braised cock, chicken noodle soup, braised cock soup. You get it in any of the West Indian local stores. Now they even have it in the supermarkets. Look at it. It says Grace Cock Soup. Okay. So these are all my ingredients that I'm going to be using. I have a pot that I'm going to be preparing the food stuff in. And you see my pressure cooker is already on the fire. I'm getting ready to go. So this one is all ready for me to put in my provisions, my ground provisions. Okay? Pause.
Headache now, that's all. I'm trying to pronounce all these names and my head is hurting, so I've decided to call you who you are. Beautiful soul sisters. These are my soul sisters. I'm from Africa.
So my meat is cooked, and now I'm going to be doing my provisions, the rest of my provisions and my flour. Okay. First I'm going to do my flour. My dumplings are not really big, you know, because like I said, this is Manish water. You don't need to make those big old cartwheels. You know what I'm saying? Just little. People call them roll and press. See? See? Little dumplings. Then I'm going to be stripping my meat, cleaning it, make sure there's no unwanted bits in there that we're not going to be eating, right? Like eyes, teeth, nose, mouth, and all of that stuff. I like to cook. I like to work really clean, you know. I like when my food is really clean so that if somebody's really eating my food, they don't find anything in there that is not good for their consumption. So, add some water over here. Okay. I'm going to add some more water in there. This is my meat. It's all cooked and ready to go in, but like I said, I have to clean it up. Cool it down, clean it up. It's all cooked. Okay. And show you falling off the bone. See? All this is really cooked. Yum. Okay. I'm gonna make some, we call these spinners. Stir it a bit. dumpling for my friend, as he likes to come by and have his Saturday soup. So he likes when his dumplings are a little bit with skirt on it. He wants his dumpling with skirt. He wants his dumpling with skirt on it. So I give him one like that. See? That's it. Little bit of skirt on his dumpling. Now I'm going to add my cocoa. I like to feed my stuff while the water is running. Keep them real clean. So here's water running. That's what I'm doing. Feeding my stuff under the pipe. I'm doing it with some like that. Making mash water, make sure you don't have to fill the pot with a lot of stuff. Because people like to have a lot of mash water, the real water. You understand? Later on, I'll be putting in my thyme, my scallion, and my pepper. And then my noodles after that. Now I'm going to be stripping my meat, so I'm going to pause. Yes folks, after carefully cleaning my meat, the goat meat, I'm going to be putting everything in the pot now. All cooked soft and nice. Very nice. Stir. I'm going to add water to this now. So it's very quick. See that? Very thick. Everything is in. dumpling, yam, cocoa. It's very thick now. It had water to it. So, get me some hot water. Voila. Now my pot is full with soup and meat and everything, see? One big pot of soup. Manishwata. Now I'm gonna add my scallion and my pepper. Voila. Let that float on the top now. Time for it to simmer down. Doing some time for my noodles. Time for my noodles. I think at this point I'm going to do 3 packs. Just make sure I'm not salting it too much. Smells good already, oh my God, man. I can smell the ram goat coming out of this thing. That's 2. I'll add 1 more. Yes, folks, so as you can see, that really looks like Manishwata. That is it, man. Last but not least, a little bit more of my all-purpose seasoning. See, just do things to your knowledge. See where your taste is at. Very good. I think that's it. That's it for Manishwata. Anytime you want a bowl, you come over here. You come see me, the boss of this thing. Canada, Jamaica, anywhere in the world I go and I make this. Your mouth jewel. See, look. Everything in there is on point. Cook. No raw food. And now, as a big chef, always like to get a little bit of taste from the bottom to make sure that my food is on point. And I don't want nobody come and say, oh, it's too salt, it's too fresh. You know, I want them to say, oh my gosh, man, who made this soup? You see? Who made this soup? So, just a little taste right now. See? We gotta take that pepper out. It's beginning to break. Yep. One thing you gotta remember, when you cut that pepper, get it out before it starts spoiling your pot. Now you gotta turn him down all the way down. So now he's just gotta stay there and simmer down. And you hear what I say? Simmer down. That is it, folks. Soup ready. Dinner is served. That is it. Yummy. Wow. Take this out of Spanish Town and sell off within 2 seconds. Yeah, man, that is it. So we out. If you want the recipe, you gotta see me. That is it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.